Hello everyone. In the previous videos, I had talked about the requirements for earning a CCAF degree and how to complete the requirements of the CCAF degree, which was in the first video. In the second video, I had talked about the three different areas within the military education system. And in the third video, I had talked about how pursuing a civilian education can be beneficial within the military education system and some things to be aware of when trying to complete both the CCAF degree and civilian degree at the same time. This is Mr. E, and this is the fourth and final video in the series of the Introduction Knowledge to Air Force Education. So let's get started. This fourth video will cover the final main topic, which is how to pay for college. Besides the free units which are offered through the Air Force, college classes have to be paid for. The three different categories which will be looked at is tuition assistance, or better known as TA, the major different GI Bills which are offered to military members, and finally, other ways that airmen can pay for college. Let's start off by looking at TA. TA is a benefit which is offered to military members. One thing to consider when using TA is that it cannot be combined with other military benefits such as the GI Bill. Also, it is a benefit, which means it can be taken away by the government at any time. There are some things to consider when an airman decides to use TA, such as what the airman must first do when applying for TA, what limitations and stipulation TA has on the airman, and finally, what TA can actually be used for. First, in order for an airman to be eligible for TA, they must have an ed plan drawn up by the institution which they're trying to receive their degree from. Complete both the online TA briefing and the TA briefing given by the Airmen's Base Education Center. Select a class 45 to 10 days prior to the start date, and submit the information for verification to the Airmen's Base Education Center, which also has to be approved. Some things to remember is that the institution which the airman is attending must make sure the airman completes the TA form within 45 to a 10-day window of the class start date. Finally, the airman must be in good standing, meaning the airman does not have any LOCs, LORs, PT failures, unexcused absences from work, and is not repeating a failed class. For the most up-to-date information regarding TA, I would highly recommend talking to an education representative at the Airmen's Base Education Center. Next, there are limitations which are placed on TA. TA can only be used while an airman is in the military. Currently, there is a $250 cap per semester hour or a $333.33 cap per quarter hour. There is a 124 unit cap for undergrad classes, which is a bachelor's degree. This also means the 124 units can be applied towards an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree combined. There are also 30 units of graduate classes that can be applied towards a master's degree or a PhD. TA cannot be used for repeated classes with a failing grade, nor can it be used for classes that are not within the Airman's education plan. Some things worth mentioning about TA is that there is a $4,500 annual cap, which comes out to about 18 semester units a year. TA will only cover tuition costs and not additional fees required to attend that institution. An example of this would be a parking permit fee or a school newspaper fee. The individual will not receive money because the military will pay the school directly. The airman will have to pay the Air Force back for any failed classes before using TA again. Finally, TA can be used for some COL programs. Next, I'll talk about the different GI Bills and the benefits that come with each one of them. The first GI Bill is the Montgomery GI Bill, or also known as Chapter 30. This GI Bill pays military members directly to go to college and is up to the military member to pay for all the payments to attend college. For members wishing to use the GI Bill, I would highly recommend paying for the $600 kicker before the member gets out of the military. This would be more beneficial because there would be a higher payment in return for the member to attend college. The next GI Bill is the Post 9/11 GI Bill, or better known as the Chapter 33. This GI Bill will pay a member monthly as if they were receiving BAH as an E5 with a dependent according to the location of the institution. Also, it'll pay $1,000 worth of book stipends and pay for a certain amount of tuition costs. Next, I'm going to combine two GI Bills, which is the Montgomery GI Bill for Selective Reserves, which is also known as the 1606, and the Reserve Education Assistance Program, or better known as REAP, or the 1607. These GI Bills are for those in the National Guard and Reserve, and they are based upon percentages similar to the Montgomery GI Bill and the post 9/11. The benefit percentage is based upon active duty time. The next GI Bill is Vocational Rehabilitation, or better known as Voc Rehab, or Chapter 31. This benefit is for disabled vets with at least 20% disability rating, but mostly for veterans with 30% or above. This benefit is not guaranteed just because the member is disabled, which means the VA will have to approve this benefit. The purpose of this benefit is to help veterans become employed and not specifically for education. Something to look into before using a GI Bill benefit is how much of a percentage of that benefit is the military member going to receive, such as 30, 50, 70, 100%. Also, is the military member a full-time or part-time student? Also, the member has to personally look and see what benefit would be more beneficial to them. The reason why I say this is because a benefit might be more valuable to them when they start school, but may be a horrible benefit 6 months or a year into their education. So it's really important for them to see their entire education experience and the benefit based upon that. Finally, a member has 36 months cap placed on them, but additional 12 months of another benefit can be used if the first 36 months was only under one benefit, meaning the member can have up to 48 months worth of benefits and use 2 different benefits to cover those 48 months. But just remember, the first benefit has to go for the full 36 months. I cannot stress this next statement enough. Please talk to a VA representative for the most up-to-date information and to help figure out what benefit would be most beneficial to the member. Also, the VA representative cannot choose the benefit for the military member. It is up to the military member to do the research and to see what benefit is best for their needs. Finally, for those who are going to grad school and who are using the post 9/11 GI Bill, I would highly recommend saving a portion of that for grad school. The reason why is the increased tuition costs which the GI Bill would cover. Once again, please talk to a VA representative to help find out which GI Bill is best for the military member in order to receive the most current information on each GI Bill that the member is qualified for. This is all the basic information about the GI Bills which I'm going to cover at this time. Next, let's look at how to pay through college through other means. The most common other ways to pay for college is have the member pay for it themselves through loans, grants, scholarships, and even through financial aid. The first and most obvious way to pay for classes is have the member pay for the class out of pocket themselves. This is hard because the member has to have the money before the class starts. The other option is through loans. Loans can be acquired through the institution that the airman is attending classes from or through a bank. Each loan has different interest rates and different regulations when acquiring payments from the airman. I would highly recommend staying away from loans when trying to go to college and only take them out only if necessary. Scholarships are free money that is given to the airmen to use towards books, tuition costs, or even special fees so long as they abide by the scholarship rules. Grants can either be looked at like scholarships when an airman is given money to go to college, or it can be seen as a repayment program when the airman receives money but will eventually have to pay some or all of it back. I would highly recommend taking all grants that do not have to be paid back. Finally, there is financial aid. The most important piece about financial aid is to fill it out before March 2nd of each year to receive full financial aid benefits. But if it is not filled out by March 2nd, still fill it out anyways to see how much financial aid is offered. So just to recap everything, we've talked about TA, the different GI Bills, and other means to pay for college, which is out-of-pocket, loans, scholarships, grants, and financial aid. This concludes this video on how to raise money for education. This also concludes the video series of Introductory Knowledge to Air Force Education. Some things that we've talked about in this series is the CCAF degree, the military education system, civilian education and how it could benefit our military career, and also ways to pay for college. Hopefully these videos and the information in them will be useful. If you have any questions or like to leave a comment on anything that you saw in the videos, please do so in the comment section below. Also, if you feel like this video was useful to you, please share them with other people. And please subscribe to this channel for future videos. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for listening. I'm looking forward from reading your comments. This is Mr. E. Goodbye until next time.